Well, hello, Paige. It's almost like you knew this was going to happen. Some, after realization slash enlightenment, life is lived as what seems disconnected, no involvement, and others appear to be having unity with all life. Why the difference? Why do you think there's a difference? I can't speak for other people, but I don't see any point in engaging in the world anymore after you've reached enlightenment. Everything that happens in this realm is unsubstantial. So why would an enlightened being go out and do more stuff? It's all meaningless if you're doing it to have the sensations. It's all unsubstantial. So I don't understand why. I can't speak for other people really, but But to me, this is the highest state. This is the pristine, as Ramana said, this is the pristine state. There is no higher experience than just what I'm doing right now. So why would I do anything else other than right now doing this? I don't know who Amma is, and I don't know very much about Hindu mythology, so I don't really know that much about Krishna. I'm suspicious of someone who is supposedly enlightened and is going around trying to change the world. Like anything other than other people awakening. Teachers who teach about being enlightened and being engaged in the world, to me, the two don't mix. I shouldn't say being engaged in the world, I should say looking for more engagement, creating more engagement in the world. Of course, I'm engaging in the world, but I'm not creating more shit to do, generating more karma. To not go further where? You can't go further than conclusion. I don't know. These are words. I would say God realization sounds pretty freaking high up there. I don't know how you could go further than realizing you're God. Like, what I mean is being God, like not just not being able to say the words, I think I'm God. So to me, all right, so enlightenment to me is complete self realization here in this life. And then liberation is the death of that enlightened being. So enlightenment to me is the stage, is the life of an enlightened being, of a self-realized, God-realized being, from the moment they're God realized to the moment they're death. To me, that's enlightenment. And then after that, well, there is no after that. After that. That's ultimate liberation, is an enlightened being dying. Uh, yeah, sure. It's more like the illusion. Yeah, the illusion passes, right? So the illusion dies, the ego dies, and then the body dies, and then that's it. Well, that's it. That's And then there's just you. There's just the absolute. But during this process, it is definitely you're dealing with things that at death, hopefully you won't have to deal with. Because at death, if you're serious about the spiritual path, then at death, you shouldn't be working through this shit at death. You should be prepared at death to be completely inwardly focused at the moment of passing. So so when you're meditating, all this shit that comes up, it'll keep coming up. If you don't deal with it, burn it off through meditation. At death, it'll all come up, and then you've got monkey mind, and then you'll just come up again. Another world will be created within your consciousness, and then you go again. I mean, in the West, especially, we don't talk about death. We just try to avoid it. We just no talking about it. It's just, oh, it's a terrible topic. And then when it comes, you have no idea how to deal with it. You're not prepared. You just flail around, and then you end up popping in. Another world pops into your existence, into your awareness after death. So there you go. There's samsara. It's silly because humans try to hold on to the biological body forever, not realizing that they themselves are already infinite, timeless beings, the timeless being. We try to prevent the impossible. We try to do the impossible by preventing the biological death. And then we miss what is. There's a lot of that going around right now. People grappling with their identity. What's up? Everything, I guess. So when that voice in your head is there, it's it's not a state within human consciousness. It's transcendent. It's the next, has to be the next evolutionary step. And if we don't transcend thought, then we're trapped. But I'm telling you, man, it's just this simple. Like just sitting here, and this has to be the base of society. If everyone in society could be taught that happiness is your true nature, and if you want to be happy, then you need to transcend thought, then you're starting at the core and working outward. You're preventing all the problems in society rather than trying to repair them after they occur. It doesn't work. Nothing, the legal system doesn't work. You have to prevent suffering. You can't fix it after it happens. If it's very simple, if everyone in society realized their own happiness, then you just everyone would be sitting in a freaking chair being happy, not consuming stuff, not using energy, just being happy rather than chasing happiness. I don't understand. Like, it's just so simple, man. So simple and so very difficult at the same time. But it's only difficult because of the state of delusion that we've gotten ourselves into. We're absolute freaking mess, and we don't even recognize it. Yeah, we were made in God's image, and we love playing games. But if you don't know the rules, if you don't even know the rules of the game or the purpose of the game, then you're just floundering around, kind of lost in the game. So, what we should be teaching in schools, well, we don't even need freaking schools anymore. What we should be teaching our children, our offspring, is that you are happiness, and that would solve all of our problems. No, you don't have to know the game to transcend it. This is the what's good about my theory is that you don't even have to believe that this is all that stuff is a message and this is a game and the reason for it and it has you have to escape it. You don't need all that stuff to for it to actually occur within you. It doesn't, you don't necessarily need to follow that cognitive path to get to the end. Yeah, you can be a blue. This happens all the not all the time, but many, many times a person will realize their enlightenment, not really doing any sort of spiritual practice or any sort of teaching. And then when they come across the teaching, they go, "Oh yeah, that's what that is. I was wondering, like I've experienced that, and yeah, that's I see that's the way it goes." Right? So yeah, you don't even need, but most people do. Most people need it. It's almost like, I don't know, picking the fruit when it's ripe rather than letting it wait until it drops off the tree itself. I don't know what is if that's a good analogy or not. But that's part of my theory is that you don't even need to get to you don't even have to engage in the theory. You can just jump to the top of the mountain and just sit, right? You just have to just take my word for it, transcend thought, abide in the thought free state. That's it. That's all the teaching you need. But a more detailed teaching is more not a convincing, but affirmation, support along the way, I guess, maybe. With, yeah, there's maybe it's easier if there's smaller steps, incremental steps along the way, rather than just, it takes a lot of faith to just leap to the top or teleport to the top of the mountain or whatever. So most people, it helps if there's smaller steps, incremental steps as you go along. Although there's only one step, but a big problem though is that people get stuck in the teaching. They just keep spinning around in the teaching and it never really transmits to direct experience. They just think that they're being spiritual by memorizing or knowing or following a bunch of spiritual teaching. But the teaching is the finger, and Everyone's looking for the exit to the labyrinth. Everyone's looking for what's real. That's the point of this game. Let's say that football is a game and the Super Bowl is the conclusion of the game for that season. So one would imagine that after winning the Super Bowl, there would be a sense of completion. So when I sit here and what I'm experiencing, I would imagine would be a lot like the afterglow of winning the Super Bowl, except that you've won at the game of life itself, which is pretty much infinitely bigger and more important than the Super Bowl. So, what do when you've completed the goal? You sit around and bask in the completion of it. Like, I can imagine what I'm experiencing right now would be what I would be experiencing the day after winning the Super Bowl. And it's accessible all the time. Yeah, but maybe it was almost worth it because chocolate ice cream, right? That's the thing about karma and Taoism is that, basically you can't have a high without a low. So if you're willing to pay that price, if you know the rules of the game and you're willing to pay for the high that you just had with and the accompanying low, then there you go. But most people don't understand that they all only want highs. They don't like it's like swinging. They only want to swing up. You can't just swing up. You have to eventually swing back. Yeah, sacrifice is a. I don't know if I don't agree with that word. I would use surrender more so than sacrifice. Sacrifice has an intentional killing connotation to it. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can't really kill the ego. If you try to murder the ego, that will just reinforce its appearance. But if you starve it, the only way to get rid of the ego and the illusion is to starve it of your attention. Yeah, but that's a relative sense of joy. That's not your true nature, right? That requires some sort of process. What if they didn't like the dinner? Then you'd be bummed out. What if they said, "Oh, this is a shitty dinner"? I don't agree with that teaching. And if you're looking at a beautiful painting, your attention is going outward onto the painting rather than remaining focused on self. Some of this other teaching is pretty soft. It's pretty soft, man. But the softer it is, the more likely you'll have more followers. So if that's what they're teaching at this Kabbalah course, I wouldn't recommend it. Just to let you know, SS, I'm working on it. I appreciate your effort and I am working on it. I'm just incredibly slow. Have you have you seen my discussions with James? Mm. There's some good stuff in there. Like the first half, I was kind of being obtuse, But the second half, we really started clicking in the second half. In the first half, I don't know. I had a muddied head or something. I realized now that he was reaching out and I wasn't taking his hand. Yeah, paradoxism. It's again, we're both coming to realize that paradox is also a superposition. So, in a way, it's another expression of the triune system. It's another holographic expression of superposition, which is the triune system, right? The triune system, my model, is a superposition, and so is paradox. But if you start messing with paradox, whoo, boy, it breaks into fractals really fast and just starts, right? Infinity is dangerous. Like it dealing with infinities and paradoxes have literally driven people insane. Really, 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 really smart people. That's why you need the zero involved. You need the stillness in there, or you'll go bonkers. You'll never realize what the message is in the information that you're getting into, right? If you never realize the message that the information is relating, then you'll just go forever and you'll never reach conclusion and you'll just go whoopity whoopy. Whoopity whoopy. I just said whoopity whoopy. Okay, so I actually wrote this to James last night, but I want to read it because I think it's pretty cool. We are created in God's image, as above, so below. The world in all dimensions and methods of description is holographically mechanistic slash fractal. All of manifestation is the holographic image slash expression of the middle column of my triune system. Here's the tough part. The source of the image, the object of the photo, is nothing that can be described. And this is why those who try to describe it end up describing it forever. And this is why those who try to describe it end up describing it forever. And this is the reason why those who try to describe it end up describing it forever. I see my theory as a holographic expression of the mechanism through which the hologram is projected. What separates it from all the other theories is that it is the initial iteration of the fractal. It is a perfect representation of potential and manifestation. It is the clearest image of source. At the end, all is revealed. Right. So try to describe what love feels like. So this again, this feeling of completion is also synonymous with the feeling of love. Yes, all of this is imagination, isn't it? But an image of what? That's the problem, is that the image, that which the image is based upon, cannot be described. And this is why those who attempt to, I don't know. And it's so frustrating to see these people just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, not realizing that they're trying to describe something that cannot be described. You have to be it. The final description is the being of us. The ultimate understanding and knowledge of something is being that thing. I hate using the word thing. And then when you are that, you can use your own experience, your own direct experience. You can just describe your experience. And that's the knowledge. You just describe you. So it's not something that you've learned, it's something that you are. And then you just describe what you are. Yeah. And the moon is the Tao. The moon is you. The finger is, it's like I said in the theory, the quantum mechanics has shown us the back of our head, but we don't recognize it. Of course, the back of my head would look very moon-like, I guess. I know. I know. I see these people at like a Led like a Led Zeppelin concert, like the celebration or some sort of concert of a great, wonderful, amazing band, and you're missing it. You're you're looking at it through a freaking like it's just bizarre. It's madness, isn't it? I just it's why why are you recording this? What are you doing? I know why. It's because it's unsubstantial. Even the greatest concert in the world is still unsubstantial. And our psyche, our ego believes that the more times you view it, the more real it'll become. But the reality of it is in the experience. Like the direct experience of that concert is non-karmic. When you record something to play it again later to experience it again in a redundant fashion, well, that's a karmic action. But if you have an experience for the experience and it just the fuel is completely burnt in that fire, there's no more karma. It's you've had the experience, it was amazing, and now you let it go because it all goes. All that recording that you put on your phone will eventually go away as well. Yeah, we're in a bad, fucked up state. Yeah, that's an expression of the 11, right? We're recording the physical phenomenon, the physical, I guess, four-dimensional experiences onto a lesser dimension or realm in order to experience again in a lesser and redundant fashion, which is the 11, right? Yeah, exactly. SS, you get this, man. So what's great about that, what's great about a holographic system is that you can pluck out one of the images and observe it and understand the whole thing, right? If you understand one part of it, then you understand the whole thing. But you have that part that you pluck out has to be seen very clearly. You can't confuse it with all of the other pieces that, right? It has to be quite a clear picture. But once you understand one, you understand all of them, and then there's no need, then your theory is complete. So that's why none of these theories are complete, is because they keep going. They just they're not getting a clear picture of that holographic system. And yeah, but there's that, but then there's also there has to be the stillness in there too somehow. Well, it looks like the one fractal is causing the other fractal to the other fractal, but it's not. It's the underlying mechanism that's creating that, or algorithm that's creating that. So if you do, like my model, like I said, the triune system is the initial iteration of that. So it's perfectly expressed. So it expresses the pattern and also the source, the mechanism through which the pattern arises. And the pattern through which it manifests and arises is through the bias of our attention. Wherever we put our attention, that's going to be the new input for the next iteration. Again, this is why any model that uses the word nothing will not be understood using the conventional understanding of nothing. The conventional conceptualization of nothing is that it is a non-existence. So this is why I changed the language and name it potential, because I think that that works better. It can actually, you can say that there is potential for the manifest and the manifest, but they're not equal. Again, this is what's tricky about maybe his model is that it wants to put the absolute and the relative in a superposition, but the relative is what is the expression of the superposition. I don't know how to explain this. Yeah. So this is why we have to just change right off the get-go any discussion that I'm going to have with someone about this is that, to me, our conceptualization of nothing is in error and needs to be replaced with potential or even source. Source can also work, I believe. Nothing can only exist as a thought, and thoughts can be false. And then we have to, along with that changing nothing, we also have to change the thing part because it's the root word of all of it. So we have to move from thing being the root word upon which reality, the model of reality is based, to the potential, the source, the Tao being the reality from which, upon which the model is based. Yeah, sure, Blinky. But I mean, like, good luck changing language that's that deeply ingrained in our psyche, right? Good luck trying to get people to rethink, reconceptualize the model of thing and nothing. Because to me, that's the only way that you can reconcile that paradox is to realize that Maya is putting two phenomenon, the absolute and the relative, it's trying to put it at the same level, and it's not. I've been working on even thing and object, right? Because the definition of a thing is basically it's an object. Like they say it's an object, and then they give qualities of the object, but it's an object. Both the primary and the secondary definition begin with an object and an inanimate object. That's what a thing is. And then you go and see what a thing is, I mean, what an object is, and then it says it's an immaterial thing. Hello. So it's so vague and so self-referential that it's meaningless. It's it doesn't relate. This is what I'm getting at, is the thought system is not fundamentally relating to the physical realm at all. It, that's what Maya's trick is it's just it it it, it takes the physical experience of the senses as kind of a seed form from which to grow the entire mental realm. The entire mental, non physical realm is growing from a seed of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That relative, that relating to physical phenomenon, or words relating to, or using as a mirror image for physical sensations. So to me, an object is a thing that has a word attached to it. Does that make sense? A an object is a thing, is thing. You can't even say a thing, because thing, the definition of thing says a. So thing in its definition, it shows it as one, singular. But it's so vague that it's meaningless. And an object becomes such, a spoon becomes, changes from a vague thing to a specific object when there's a thought, a word, a symbol attached to it, associated with it, superimposed over it. And then there's a projection of the appearance of a spoon, of an object that's separately existing from all other senses that are being experienced simultaneously. So there is no spoon. It's a long setup for to use the phrase "there is no spoon." And this state where there's no separately existing objects, things, yeah, no separately existing objects, is accessible. You just have to learn how to observe from the thought-free state. Because if I look around this room and no words enter my consciousness, well, where are the separately existing objects? That's exactly it, SS. That's exactly it. It's really all self-referential, but Maya, see, we've already accepted this to be fundamental reality. So if we use if Maya uses this simulation as a base for the next simulation, see what I mean? It needs something in seed form, if you will, to grow the next iteration of samsara. but that in itself is self-referential. But it just goes, all right, well, we've already fooled, right? Maya has already fooled human consciousness or consciousness to believe that it is physical. But now that that potential is running out and it's kind of getting bored and it's losing its interest, well, then it's like, well, okay, let's shift that over here now because they already take this to be real. So maybe if we get something, if I get something that's similar enough to it, then they'll just shift over and accept this as the new fundamental reality. But it's self referential. It doesn't, when that shift takes place, then this realm will be appearing as unsubstantial as the thought realm is to us now. And then it will be completely forgotten. The physical experience of the physical senses will be completely forgotten. And then you'll be in the thought realm searching again. And then it's just around and around and around we go. And all the complexity of it, like I said in that last discussion with James, is that deception is hidden within complexity. If a system of thought keeps generating increasing complexity, then that is an expression of its incorrectness. It's all Occam's razor. It should all go back to simplicity. It should always collapse back into simplicity, not expand into complexity. Truth should be self-evident, and the path to that truth should be more of a collapsing than an expansion, a simplification, not a complication. My words sometimes. Yeah, again, that's just another holographic expression of what's going on with the deeper reality. Yeah, this is the same it's exactly the same process, or that I should say is a holographic expression of the reality of the process that is occurring all the time. Not the pool table. Imagine being a ruler with nothing left to measure. How do you measure one thing? Guess that ends up being pi. Well, gang, I'm tapping out. Thanks for dropping by.